If you're in the market for big construction equipment, circle June 17th on your calendar. Richie Brothers Auctioneers is conducting another Brisbane unreserved auction, and you won't want to miss it. This will be the biggest unreserved industrial auction to ever take place in Australia. It's a complete dispersal of the equipment used by Leo and Green in the Ebenezer coal mine operation located here in Australia. One look at the equipment in this Brisbane auction and you'll see why this is an auction you can't afford to miss. All of Leo and Green's equipment is extensively maintained. As you can see, most of the equipment is being cleaned, painted and refurbished for auction day, which includes upgraded undercarriage and tyres. The gear will be ready for you to buy at the auction on June 17th, so you can put it to work on the 18th. Time and time again, interested buyers tell us that to buy a used piece of equipment, they need to see history records. It's important to see how the machine has been maintained over the years. Well, if you're looking for good maintenance records, you won't find better records around. Each item in the auction has an extensive history file for you to look through. It provides in detail the maintenance program on each machine. Ron Leo has a good name in the industry because of his thorough maintenance program. One look at his equipment and you'll see why he has such a great reputation.
One of the reasons why Leo and Green's machinery is in very, very good condition is I'm a diesel fitter by trade. I have a leaning towards keeping machinery in good condition. I do overspend on the machines, but that's because that's my background, that's my trade. They're all machines that have been well maintained, they've been well looked after. Out at Ebenezer, trucks, loaders, dozers, a whole box and dice, they only ever work claystone, silkstone, mudstone. Even though we talk about drill and shoot, we still drill and shoot, but we're not working sandstone, we're not working basalt. And you can see by the machines, there is very little scarring on the machines. They haven't had a hard life. They're productive, they work, they burn the diesel, but they're not bouncing over bloody gundies all day. They're working in good material. All machines are on an SOS program and a mag plug program. The mag plug is our idea, SOS is Caterpillar's idea, but it's a great idea. It gives us forewarning of dust entry and water entry. That's the two most critical things I believe it picks up that lets you know very, very quickly that you've got a problem occurring. If you keep the dust out and you keep the water out, change your 250 hours, 125, whatever the program is, your motor lasts forever. How we arrive at 125-hour oil change is we come to those conclusions ourselves. There's the soot level and there's a fuel consumption. And when those two parts cross, where that is when the oil change, it can't go any higher than that. It can't go any further than that. So we build a buffer zone into that hour. Into those hours where that crosses, we build a buffer into that, might be 30%, and we arrive at 125-hour oil changes. Same as we arrive at 250-hour oil changes on the 777s. It's not what the oil manufacturer recommends to us. It's not what the machinery dealer recommends to us. This is the conclusion that we've come to, and the proof's in the pudding. We get big hours out of our motors, big hours out of our components. By mag plug inspection, it shows bearing flaking, broken tooth, that type of thing, the things that the SOS can't pick up. The SOS is a very, very good program, but there's certain things it can't do. When we do one of these trucks on a weekend, or even if we do it during the week, if we're doing a 250-hour oil change, we have a spare plug, the plug's pulled out and the clean plug's put in. If the plug that's pulled out has foreign bodies on it, it's kept and showed to the workshop foreman. He then makes a decision whether the truck keeps on working or he pulls it out immediately. Yeah. This truck here, 103, is just an example of over 40 trucks that we've got in Richie's auction. This one yet hasn't been refurbished. It'll be refurbished, painted the same as every other truck. So as they're all identical. This truck here was one of what we rebuilt, what we call a Leo and Green certified rebuild. We've got 5 trucks in this condition that we bought brand new a few years ago and have been through our recycling program, as we call it. We believe that the life of a truck is endless. Because how long can you keep on using a truck like this? It's endless. The rock body goes forever. The cab goes forever. rebuild the components. They go forever, as long as you want to maintain it. It doesn't have to be replaced just because it's got a few hours on it. In this, what we call Leon Green Certified Rebuild, with a total strip, down a chassis, front suspension legs overhauled, wheel bearings, front brakes, the air conditioning units, the air compressors, the air systems, electrical, cabs refurbished. Anything that had to be done to this machine was done to this machine that would allow it to go back to work 24 hours a day, 5 days a week for the next 5 years. We wanted it to come out of the workshop in the same condition as if it was a new machine. The dollar value spent on this truck when we carried out what we call the Leon Green Certified Rebuild was in excess of $235,000. That's on spare parts only. That's not including fitters' times, does not include tyres, that type of thing. Now, that can all be substantiated by computer records and hard copies. We have nothing to hide. We are able to go back to, if we own a rig here that goes into that auction and we own that rig in 1982, our records go back on hard copies to 1982. We've only got 2 777Cs. Again, the only improvement on the 777Bs, smooth gear change, electronic injection, that type of thing. Our 777Bs, the majority of them, if not all of them, have all been upgraded to the smooth change. This has got low component hours. When we bought it second-hand, it had less than 10,000 hours on it. We did planetaries, brakes, diffs, transmission motors, so they're all running at about 4,000, 4,500 hours. This truck, same as every other one, headboard reinforced. That headboard, when this truck is worn out on the dump, that headboard will still be intact. Spill guards on the side. It's a high board body, tailgate on the back, which allows us to carry 65, 70 tonne of coal loaded to the brink. When we're carting waste, we don't load to the tailgate. So they were never stopping to be greased. They're always fueled on the meal break, and with automatic lube, they're being greased for the whole 24 hours a day. It's all computer controlled. When there's a failure in the system, the operator is notified in the cab, which then can notify the workshop that his greasing system has failed. All the bodies have body liners in them. Maybe it might have been a bit of an overkill in this sort of material here. This is sedimentary material, clay stone, siltstone, mudstone. It's not abrasive. It's not heavy. But the thing is, that truck body there, we expected would last forever. We never ever thought we'd lose this job. We just thought we'd be here with this body, with this truck, for the rest of our life. We thought that body would go to the dump. It was never our intention ever to sell that truck. But that body is lined now. It can go into jobs where there's abrasive material. The work is already done. If anybody buys this truck, the liners are fitted. Whether they want to run with tailgates, run without tailgates, that's their decision. Reinforced head guards, all the work has been done. What we did with the cabs and the off-highway trucks, we went for a little bit more operator comfort, consoles. So there is where his UHF is, his CB, his radio, FM, AM radio, his cassette deck. We incorporated a console above the operator's head, glove boxes. We're very big into operator comfort. The operator spends the majority of his awake life sitting in the cab of that truck. So he's got to be like he's sitting in his lounge at home. He's got to be comfortable. The only thing he hasn't got is the TV. We designed and built that ladder in our own workshop. It's hooked into the park brake. Now when the operator goes to leave the cabin, if he walks around the front and that ladder is still up, it means his park brake is not applied. He's got to go back in and apply his park brake before that ladder will come down. If he's got to leave the cabin in an emergency, for whatever reason, and his park brake, he loses all his air pressure and his park brake won't activate the ladder, he can force it down by his foot. This particular job here, all long ramps are 8%. All short ramps will go to 10%. But we don't believe in sharp corners or steep ramps because that overloads the components and can shorten the life of the machine. The last few years, even on this site here, as on other sites, all long ramps were built with a laser. That allowed a truck to hit that ramp be in second gear, and second gear from the bottom to the top. He wasn't changing gears up and down halfway up the ramp. Like, how long does a transmission last? Does a transmission last 10,000 hours, 15,000 hours, 20,000 hours? A transmission lasts as long as the least number of gear changes that transmission has to make. That's why we see it as very important that the ramps are built to the right gradient. These little trucks we bought a number of years ago, they're great little trucks. They're beautiful little trucks. If there's a small contractor around who wants a couple of rear dumps, well maintained, in good conditions, oodles of spare parts, he won't buy a Mack truck as cheap as what he'll buy these trucks. And if he comes to Richie's auction, you never know what you'll get them for. It's unreserved. They are good trucks. As you can see by the condition of this truck here, it doesn't matter whether it's a 40 tonner, 777B, 50 tonner, they all receive the same tender loving care. There's no shortcuts taken. If someone comes to the auction and thinks that all the money's been spent on that 777, all the accurate records are kept, all the tender loving care goes in those 777s, that's not correct. These trucks cop the same amount of attention. They're all machines that have been well maintained, they've been well looked after. You can see by the push arm here, they've only ever worked in sedimentary rock. You don't see any scarring. If you look at that motor there, that's a low component hour motor. Now this machine here alone is, we've spent in the last 14 months about $263,000 on it. Walking gear, transmission, whatnot. In the last 2.5 years we've spent in the vicinity of, off the top of my head, $400,000 on it. Now how often do you hear someone say that I've poured that much money into that machine, I can't sell it? Well, I've poured the money into it. All you got to do is come and buy it at the auction. We've put the money into it and we haven't taken any shortcuts. There's only one standard, it's got to be done correctly. When a bloke comes in here to buy that D11N at the auction, he doesn't have to walk past that transmission and think to himself, I wonder what's in there. He can go to our records and he can see what's in there, and what is in there is factual. Any machine that we have that runs with high pressure external fuel lines, we fit fire suppression to it, because if a fuel line breaks on the turbo, boom, up she goes, you know, you might lose a day's production, you might lose 2 days' production. Yeah, the X1800, when I bought it, it was a market leader, and still I believe is a market leader today. Hitachis make a magnificent machine. Irrespective of what size it is, they are, I believe, the best. The history of the machine is, last 12, 14 months we've spent about $300,000 on it, just on major component overhauls. We don't have any defined hour that we pull something out on this machine. It's based on SOS reporting, magnetic plug, visual inspection. It has proved successful up until now. No filter, doesn't matter what machine we own, no filter is ever pulled out and not cut open. All filters are cut open, inspected for signs of foreign bodies. If there's something shows up, we monitor it immediately until the decision is made to pull it out. If you're going to be successful or be a survivor in this industry, you've got to catch the breakdowns before they occur. You've got to repair them when you're ready, not on Monday morning when they're ready. You've got to anticipate when it's going to break down. If there's any doubt, we'll pull it out. There's been work done on pumps, pump drives, all that type of thing. It's got low component hours on the motors. We carry a service exchange motor for these, which also fits the UH801. The walk motors are original, final drive motors, they're on low component hours also. Bucket has been completely overhauled recently. The boom and dipper is on an X-ray program. There's not a great deal more I can say about it, except it's a bloody good machine. This machine we bought about, to the best of my knowledge, about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. Leo and Green weren't shovel people. We were front-end loaders and excavator people. Had pretty limited knowledge on shovels, but wanted to get to know a bit about them, so we bought this one second-hand. UH801s, anyone with an 801 that's looked after them are very, very happy with them. In parts alone, we spent $681,000 on it to rebuild it. It might have been a bit of an overkill, but when we started, we thought we'd do an A1 job. There's an X-ray program on the boom and dipper. That's normal on both large machines, and also the PC1000. It's on an X-ray program also. This will go to the paint shop, but this is as it was when it came off the mine site. We give a bit of a high pressure clean. We've done no work to it, apart from a couple of walkways, that type of thing. We bought this machine brand new. In their day, they were the market leaders. They were a very, very popular machine. I honestly believe one of the best machines that Caterpillar ever made. We just don't have any problems with them. Their boom, their circle, the whole box and dice. Now this is the oldest loader of the 5992s going in, but it gives you an example of the condition that we keep our machines. These don't get any higher, or these don't get any more attention just because they're the loader. It doesn't matter whether it's a 40-tonne truck, or it's a 992, or it's the X1800. All get the same tender loving and care, all get the same amount of money spent on them if it's required. Leon Green's motto is, you be kind to them and they'll be kind to you. And it's never failed us. This is an example of what we churn out in our workshops, the high quality work that we churn out in our workshop. It was built to our own design. That's a 9U blade which we extended, cut open totally, all ribs behind it, skinned the whole box and die, straight as a die, D10 nose cone, D10 lift rams. All the prefabrication was done in our workshop. We've got a couple of Boilermakers, give them a pack of welding rods, and this is what you get. Turn out high quality work. Push arms, D9G, but made to fit, two tilt cylinders to roll the blade forward. All this box section up through here, all the reinforcements through there, all to our design. Why we built this was at the Ebenezer mine, because the mine was so spread out, we'd have a dump here and a dump there, and be mining coal here, mining coal there, and we're forever having a dozer stuck there and a dozer stuck there. We have 3 scrapers going into Richie's auction, 2 657Es and 1 633C. 633C has just been through a big rebuild program in the last 6 months. Its rebuild was at the same standard as the 777s that we spoke about previously. If somebody, whether it be cowcocky, farmer, small contractor or whatever, is looking for a good 633C, I don't believe he will find a 633C in this condition anywhere in this country. Fitted with automatic lube and fire suppression. Bowls been plated, flights have been done, hitches been done, cabs been done. Component hours, very, very good component hours. Well in excess of a couple $100,000 haven't been spent on it. 657Es, as anybody who knows scrapers, 657Es are a very, very good rig. They've been extensively modified in so much as we've plated the bowls, the hitch has been overhauled, fire suppression fitted, automatic lube fitted, low component hours. I don't believe that you would pick up a couple of 657Es in this condition anywhere in Australia. Well, the 16Gs are on the same preventative maintenance, same service program as everything else. Doesn't matter whether it's D10Ns, 992s, 777s or whatever. These were a critical machine on that mining operation that we used to mine 3 and 4 inch seams of coal. They got a lot of attention, pretty cheap graders to run. I love them. 16Gs are good gear. They're good gear, especially if it's got Leon Green on the side of it. The same history is available, transmission, motors, diffs, nuts and bolts, O-rings, all recorded. It is no different than any other machine. The same standard goes through the whole lot. Gardner, Denver, single pass rotary drill. As I said, single pass drill, we manufactured and fitted our carousel rod carrier to it, so it's now a multi-pass drill. 1,000 hours on the motor, been overhauled recently, as you can see by the paint job. FOPS canopy fitted. That's for my own peace of mind. Under mine regulations, strange as it may seem, drills don't have to have rollover protective structure. I do that for my own peace of mind. I'm a big fan of drills. 2 shifts of drilling, bang, 30,000 metres, 50,000 bank cubic metres, 90,000 bank cubic metres of dirt sitting on the ground. Ready for an 801 992 front end loader. What a lot of people don't understand is that a front end loader's job is to pick the dirt up and put it in the back of the truck. How often you go into a job, the front end loader is digging the face and digging the toe. This is what does the digging. It blows the crap out of it. And the loader then picks it up and puts it in the back of the truck. And this is the thing that contributes to the long life of our front end loaders and our 801 and the X1800. This is where the machines come for oil change, 250 hour, 125 hour, 500, 1,000 hours, whatever. We have carried out oil changes in 20 minutes, but we allow 30 minutes. The operator waited for it, back to work. In that period of time, he would have his oil changed, his filters changed, his batteries checked, his magnetic plug inspections carried out, which is very, very important for the preventative maintenance program. What you're looking at here is the Ebenezer Mine workshop. Even though now it's deserted, this is where all the repairs were carried out. This workshop operated 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, with an extra overtime shift on Sundays. 6-bay workshop, 1 bay was the Boilermaker section, and plus the far end of the workshop where the travelling crane was where the rebuilds were carried out. There's no pressure on the fitters rebuilding components. If you pull a transmission out of this and the truck's sitting there waiting while you rebuild that transmission, there's pressure on everybody to get that truck going again. We're big believers in service exchange components. We run spare motors, spare transmissions, spare diffs, spare wheel ends, not only for 777s, 992s, D10s, 88s, the whole box and dice. When that component that has been removed because of a failure is being rebuilt, everything must be built correctly. There must be no pressure under the fitter or the workshop to get that out in a hurry. Once people are working under pressure, people make mistakes. Any prospective buyer can view the history. He can view the files on each machine, and each machine on this site has a file. It's a file that tells a story. We don't have anything to hide. We can prove that the dollars went into the machines. The history is there in hard copies and on computers, irrespective of what machine it is on this site. I invite you to come to Richie Brothers Auction on June 17th, 1997. Nowhere else will you get the opportunity to see 21 777s all in a row, along with D11s, D10s, 992s, 988s, service trucks, fitters trucks, crane trucks, pumps, the whole box and dice, all good high quality gear with a mechanical history to go with it. So I invite you to be there. You can buy with confidence on the 17th of June 1997.
Call the Richie Brothers Brisbane office for work orders and service history on any of the items in the upcoming June 17th auction. Or to speak to the owner of the equipment, you can contact Ron Leo through Richie Brothers Auctioneers.